I was very cautious and skeptical going into Dutton Ranch, just based off of my experience with the Marshall show on CBS. Because after finishing Yellowstone, which again we can go into that whole ending, that was just a whole terrible, terrible season, final season. But for a year now, maybe a little bit over a year, we've been kind of longing for that Yellowstone feel again. So when Marshalls came out, I was so excited. I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. I was kind of cautious again with that one because it was CBS, but I was like, you know what? As long as they still have that feel of Yellowstone and we're following arguably the best character from the show, yeah, Marshalls ain't it. We're now 13 episodes, well, a whole season in. Now, they've already renewed it. It broke some kind of record. The first 2 episodes when they aired broke some kind of CBS record. Cool. Good for them. I'm happy for them. But, bro, like, you cannot convince me that not only are you going to have a Marshalls team right there in the same exact fucking town that Casey Dutton was in, and then also have 2 women on the same fucking team out of all the U.S. Like, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. So that already kind of, and then obviously we already knew why they did that. I'm not stupid. We know why the production studios do that. We know why CBS did that. We know why the show is so mid. We know exactly why. There's a million things you could have done with the show to make it better, to make it a great show. Dutton Ranch, the stakes are actually pretty big with this one, especially after episode 3, which is why I'm not complaining too much about it. But there are some glaring things after watching episode 3, because I watched the first 2 episodes of Dutton Ranch, again, cautiously, skeptically, if that's even a word. But I got to the first 2 episodes of Dutton Ranch, I was like, bravo. There's still your isms in there, but I was like, bravo. You guys still kept that Yellowstone type of feel to it. It's not exactly Yellowstone, obviously, but you get that feel of it. But we knew what kind of show this was going to be, and we knew whose show this was going to be. And that's Beth Dutton, who arguably was the most insufferable character from Yellowstone. Especially with the way that whole thing with her and Jamie ended, I completely despise that ending. But again, the conversation and topic for another time. But we knew it was going to be Beth Dutton's show. No doubt about it. I'm not stupid. I knew that before they even announced the show and said they're going to do a spinoff with Beth and Rip. I'm like, well, Rip, he can carry a show, and I'm glad they're still giving him some actual, like, real problems to work with. And they're actually having some really good character development in the show already, especially with the drunk dude, the drunk felon. And shout out to that guy, because he was in Ozark. And another credit I'll give to the show, by the way, is the casting. I think the casting is fucking amazing. I don't care what you say. Like, I was finding people in the casting that I didn't even know were going to be in the show. And I was like, yo, that's like Josh Stewart. I don't know if you guys know who Josh Stewart is, but if you guys are horror fans, go and watch the Collector, what's it, Collector? Yeah, Collector movies. I'm about to call them collectibles. But the Collector movies. Watch those movies. And you'll know why I like Josh Stewart. But he was also in, like, Dark Knight Rises. He played, like, the side character, the guy that, one of the henchmen of Bane, I believe. But it's cool to see him as a sheriff. I fucking love it. Love him as an actor. Jai Courtney, that goes without saying. Again, I don't really like the character. I wish they would have had him play, like, a different character than, like, the super fucking, like, drugged up, hyper violent kind of guy. But because we already knew that kind of works for him. Like, we already knew he could play that character. But I'm glad he's in the show too. And then, of course, Berta Colon, who I saw and who I know from the Power spinoff. So, again, shout out to the casting in the show. Awesome, great. First 2 episodes, they were good. Liked them. Now let's get to episode 3 last night. I still like the fact that they're giving the guys something to do to where it doesn't feel as female heavy. With that being said, Yellowstone, you were able to have that male to female balance in terms of storylines because you had Beth Dutton, who was like pretty much the only female character you had that anybody really gave a shit about. Everybody else was just kind of meh. Like again, like all of John Dutton's love interests weren't really that important, including they tried to make the vegan chick important, and she just became just as annoying as Beth. Um, and then you had, yeah, I mean, you had the rest were just dudes, and you had the one chick, from the barn. She was in a part of the crew. That was kind of weird, but again, none of them really had any big parts of the overall story. So it was kind of good and refreshing to have a show like that. But we knew Dutton Ranch wasn't going to be that show. It's not like we were going to get, like, Rip has a long-lost brother or a long-lost cousin, and it's going to be two dudes. I thought they were at least going to bring back the old man. I always forget his name, but the old man with the handlebar mustache. I always liked him. He was really cool. I always call him the Sam Elliott lookalike. That guy. They could at least brought him in and had him be, like, an expendable for later seasons, a later death or something like that. But no, you have Annette Bening playing pretty much female John Dutton. All the way, almost to a T, the way she sits in the very back of the car, and just it's so fucking weird, man. So like even watching episode 3 last night, I was really happy going into the episode, and then by the end of the episode, I'm sitting here like, like they're progressing the storyline, like with the cattle and everything. Like I like that part of the storyline because that is a challenging point that you're getting to, especially when she just introduced the meat to old dude at the restaurant. But even at the restaurant, dude, you go to like it was so glaring. Even watching the black chick stand there, the black chef stand there and getting berated by, and it's just like. And me, somebody who has worked in a restaurant, I was a back-of-house manager for a few years, actually. Like, I understand how hectic and going back and forth and managers, we scream, yet cuss and all. I get that. But, bro, you didn't need to show that in the show. You didn't need to show that in the scene, first of all, let alone the show. But they did. Episode 3 of the entire show. So, shout out to... I don't know how to say this guy's name, but I've been seeing this guy quite a bit on Twitter lately because he talks about the same kind of shows that I talk and watch about, that I talk about and watch. Because he was talking about The Boys, and I was like, yo, this dude's making some of the same points as me. Then I was like, okay. But now I also don't agree with everything this guy says. But we'll get to it as we go through his tweet. But I thought this would be a perfect tweet to actually kind of talk about when talking about some of the flaws of this show. Because I just gave you guys a bunch of the positives. The casting, the storyline is still actually pretty good. It's just the female boss shit is just so out of hand. And now it's like shoved down our throats and in our faces. I can't help but say, hey, yo, can we stop this before it starts getting super fucking gay? Can we stop this? Because Marshall's is already pushing me a little bit where I'm like, yo, I don't care. Like, these there's only 2 episodes I watched of Marshalls so far. There's 12 episodes. The season finale is tomorrow. Out of the 12 episodes so far, there's only been 2 that I've watched where I was like, that was actually a good episode. 2. And they weren't even consecutive. But anyways, man, let's go ahead and get this. So he says, as I feared, Dutton Ranch episode 3 is Taylor Sheridan back doing what he does best, making women look bad in the name of empowerment. We get a black girl boss chef bitching about her white male boss and how tips were fucking short. Then Beulah, that's Annette Bening. Then Beulah's lip-filled granddaughter vandalizes a truck. Oh, yeah. Let's... Not only... See, he fails to mention this, too, though. Not only does she do this, so she, does this, tell Sheriff to fuck off, all this other shit, right? The granddaughter who's dating Carter, which is Beth and Rip's son, bruh, this dude is pissing in the back of the truck on it, and I'm just like, this would make, but it's just like, dude, you're already making the dude a simp by him going after chick. I could understand in the first episode where they fought, and then obviously she was still with the dude, whatever. But it's episode 3 that already happened. She clearly doesn't want to be with him, but yet she's tracking. She put a tracking device on old dude, and she's talking like, I'm telling you right now. Even 10 years ago, which I would have been in my early 20s, 10 years ago, if I'm at a table with a bitch on a date and she's talking about her ex-boyfriend, first of all, my mind is checking the fuck out. Second of all, I'm probably checking out her fucking date too. Why the fuck do I care about that? Why would you put a tracker on your ex-boyfriend or on your boyfriend right now and you call me to come see you? Why would you write this into this show? Why would you write Carter again? Not many real men we get in this show. I like Ed Harris's character. Again, great casting with Ed Harris. I like Rip, but Rip's not getting too much dialogue either. I've noticed that. Like, you're not giving Rip much dialogue in the show rather than like a couple one-liners. And I'm like, I thought we were going to get, but whatever. Maybe that'll come later in later seasons, whatever. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, bro, you already made Carter simp. Now you've got him pissing in the back of old dude's truck. He runs out there with a gun. Obviously, you know what's going to fucking happen now. He's going to try and track him down at the worst possible fucking time. And then Beth or Rip are going to somehow find out, if not both, find out. And then it's going to be a whole fucking problem, obviously. We already know. But obviously, we have to figure out how that's going to unfold. How that's going to, I get it. You got to put all those pieces in places for it to happen. But you write Carter to be such a simp in this show already. We're already in we're going on episode 4. And I'm already like, bro, you cannot be fucking serious. That we have him sipping so much that he brings her back to the crib after all that. And then sit there and smoke a joint. And then they make love. Now, I'm not mad about those last 2 parts, but you got to think to yourself, you got to be pretty fucking stupid. After the sheriff stopped you, and you know this bitch is crazy, and if you didn't catch the dialogue in that scene where Sheriff Wade, I think it is, Sheriff Wade, is it in here? But I'm pretty sure that's what his name was Wade. But Sheriff Wade, when he said you Jacksons or whatever it was, I think that's what their last name is of her family. That didn't ring a fucking a bell in your head to say, oh shit, I should probably not bring her back to the crib and should just probably take the L for today because she has a family history of being fucking crazy. Her whole family does. And apparently they controlled it. No, I'm good. But you decided to write this character so empty-headed that I'm just like, what's all the wise shit that he learned in fucking Yellowstone as a kid growing up? Like, I don't get it, man. But again, he's still technically a kid, so, he's a kid's gonna make stupid fucking decisions. But it's just a terrible way to write the character. That's all I'm saying. Meanwhile, Beth and Beulah spew F-bombs as they dominate every man they come in contact with. True. All this is supposed to make women seem as tough as the men. It doesn't. It just makes them vulgar, unstable, and unlikable. Facts. Why do they think women constantly debasing themselves with profanity and aggression equals empowerment? I don't know, but they always write them in one or two ways. They're either super fucking aggressive and violent, or they make them super fucking, like, they make them as if they're the smartest person in the fucking world. Where they're super snarky and I'm a woman, I know everything, blah, 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 whatever. And you have the super aggressive ones. Which like, I'm a man, I'm I'm gonna throw around a dude that's 6'5", 350 pounds with one arm. Like, yeah, that's okay. Awesome. Now what? You've made 100 of those movies now, Hollywood. Now what? And none of them are fucking. All of them fucking failed. Now what? Exactly. But again, I don't want to hound on this show too much because I'm still interested in the overall story. Like I said, I still fuck with the family, like the not just the Dutton family, obviously, but I still fuck with the family that I don't know their last names, but Beulah's family. Even though I'm like, bro, like every fucking scene that Annette Bening and Beth Dutton and Kelly Riley are in as their characters, great actresses, no doubt. But these characters are so fucking insufferable. And Marshall, this is just to tell you how bad Marshall's is, by the way, before we get out of here. Marshall's is so bad with their dialogue and their female characters. Again, way too many female characters in the show to begin with. But and then Miles, bless the dude's heart, man. I know he's trying his best to be, the best actor. Fuck, man, I cannot get invested in that character because his acting is so fucking dry. Anyways, Marshall's is so fucking bad and their female characters are so bad that I was literally begging and pleading for Dutton Ranch to start for it to finally air the first episode. And again, it's bad when you, and I told my boys this the other week. I was like, it's bad when I literally am begging to see Beth Dutton, of all people, on my screen again. So again, Dutton Ranch has I wouldn't say they have a long way to go, because they really knocked it down a few pegs with episode 3 with all this BS. But Dutton Ranch still has a long way to go before I say, hey, I'm completely done with this show. I'm knocking it off. I'm not watching another fucking episode again. Not just because I'm invested in the overall story of Yellowstone, but because Dutton Ranch still gives me that feel, that Yellowstone feel at the end of the day. It doesn't fully complete it, but it still gives me more of a Yellowstone feel than fucking Marshall's any day. The only thing that gives me the Marshall's feel is whenever they're on a reservation, or whenever, Casey's talking about anything remotely about the Yellowstone, and whether it's the land, whether it's John Dutton, whether it's Beth or anybody, Rip. I think he mentioned Rip one time, or referenced Rip one time as well. Like, whenever he does like whenever they give you like those little nuggets and those little Easter eggs, I like that. But again, that's not gonna keep me personally invested into a show. And then obviously, his relationship between him and Cal. I like that. And again, I like what they're writing for Miles. That character, I mean, not the character, but the actor is just so bad, man. Like, you want to like the guy, you want to like the character, but it's just the actor is so bad. Anyways, man, I could talk all day about this. Marshall's, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Dutton Ranch, I'm going to still keep it at a thumbs up, but I feel like if they're going to keep going the way they went with episode 3, I'm definitely going to go either this, or it's going to be a thumbs down by the end of the season. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments. You guys agree or disagree? Hit that like and subscribe. All that good stuff. It's your boy Corn, and I am OUT.